What up, everybody? Raising Kanan Season 3, Episode 3 ended with Ronnie standing across the street from Kanan's apartment building, staring at Kanan and Famous, and watching them handling their weed business before walking into their apartment building. Then OG Kanan went on to say, somebody's always watching, always on the hunt, and if you standing in one place, you're real easy to find. It's real simple. Move or die. And this also goes back to what Famous told Kanan earlier in the episode, that he don't where he eats. And keep in mind how Kanan responded to Famous, saying that he don't even know what that means. But Kanan was clearly lying because Rock told him the same thing when she was teaching him how to cook crack. She said, what we're doing here is a straight violation. You never where you eat. And we know how Kanan feels about Rock right about now. So he would go ahead and do that just straight up out of rebellion towards his mother. But real talk, how many people who spent any time in the game at all where they ate, as Famous would say, at one point or another? I know this is definitely something I did a lot of, especially my first couple years in the game. And I'm not going to say it wasn't without consequences either. My first time ever getting robbed wasn't even done with a gun. I let three guys, yeah, I said three guys into my apartment to sell a bag of weed, and they ended up jumping me, beating me down real bad, and taking all my money and my weed. I'll say this, starting out in the game, I made a lot of mistakes, but I always learned from them and didn't repeat my mistakes for the most part. But it was even said that Marvin was doing the same thing when he got busted. He was using his own product and serving out his own house. Rock straight up told Kanan this also. So we can't say Kanan doesn't know better. He's just young and doing whatever he wants to do. And doing what is most of all convenient. Because one thing I can say about serving where you sleep is that it is very convenient. This is what Simrad was doing also. And he still has the couriers picking up at his place also, which might come back at him in one way or another at some point. Especially if one of those couriers gets locked up. I can definitely see them dropping Simrad's address with the quickness. And what other thing that Ronnie staring at Kanan showed us was how Kanan and Famous are young and green. Because they walked right into their own apartment building with Ronnie staring at them, confirming to Ronnie that that is where they live at. Now, most people, if they would have seen Ronnie staring at them like that, they would have walked somewhere else so he wouldn't know where they lived. Or most people in the game would have confronted Ronnie right there on the spot. In a lot of cases, Ronnie would have even got shot or beat down from watching somebody like that. Especially because it would have been a 2-versus-1. I mean, just think about what OG Kanan or Tommy Egan would have done if they were standing with their boy and Ronnie was watching them like that. I promise you, there would have been a problem right then and there. But they definitely acted like some kids. And we know Ronnie is going to connect with Kanan sooner or later in one way or another. And it will be very interesting to see how that plays out. But today, I want to look at it from another angle. The possibility of Ronnie going back to prison. Keep in mind that in the Season 3 teaser video, Unique is telling Rock that Ronnie's out here wilding. And we already begin to see that playing out in Episode 3. First off with Ronnie killing the bouncer who called him an inmate one night at the club. Now I assume the way he crushed that man's head in the door that man is dead. Either though we don't know for sure. But assuming that man was killed, Ronnie left his fingerprints all over the car door, the top of the car, and even on the man's wallet. Now, I know the show is currently taking place in the early 90s, but I'm pretty sure fingerprint detection was already being used back then. Plus, the fact Ronnie has been to prison means his prints are already in the system. Also, at the end of the episode, we saw Ronnie watching Rock's crib, and he saw Unique walking out. So he now knows that Unique and Rock have something going on. But more importantly than that, Ronnie was not driving his own car. He was driving around in a car that he stole. We know this because they showed the screwdriver in the ignition to let us know that he stole the car. Again, another reckless decision. It's one thing to steal a car, then to take it to a chop shop real quick for a payday. But to steal a car, then go around joyriding in it and using the car to follow your brother around, sitting in a neighborhood, is asking for trouble because it's only a matter of time until that person reports their car stolen. So Ronnie is already out here wilding, and Unique don't even know about it yet. You can also add the fact that Ronnie straight up told Unique's baby mama Panessa that Unique might be with another woman. That right there is a straight hater move, and this was even before he knew for sure that Unique was hooking up with Rob. But Ronnie's main issue is the fact that he's not back to work yet. Keep in mind that even though as crazy as Ronnie is, he was the one running things before he went to prison. So to be out a few weeks now and nothing really going on, Ronnie's patience is running thin. So in episode 4, we will see Ronnie returning to his old plug Dean. But it doesn't look like that reunion is going to go too well because the trailer shows Dean telling Ronnie that he will run him into the ground before Ronnie snatches Dean up. Now keep in mind what was said about Dean when he was first introduced in season 1. He's a real kingpin who got long money. He's not about making noise. He's just silent and violent. So I don't see Ronnie intimidating a man like Dean. More likely than that, Dean will know that Ronnie's going to be a problem and that he got to go. But at the end of the day, one way or another, Ronnie's going to end up getting work because there's a promo clip of Ronnie handing Kanan a brick. So either Dean decides to go ahead and work with Ronnie, or more than likely, Ronnie will find a way to rob Dean's coke shipment, his stash house, or something like that to get work. And there's also a chance that Ronnie will work with Snaps Henry, who will also be introduced in episode 4. Getting me to, will Howard and Rock be the ones to send Ronnie back to prison once they find out that Kanan is working for Ronnie? They're already doing whatever they can to keep Kanan out the game, and it looks like in episode 4, Rock's even going to set Kanan up to get arrested to try to get him out the game. But we all know her attempts won't work because we know Kanan's story and how he turns out. So will they try to eliminate Ronnie in an effort to get Kanan out the game, in a similar way to how Ghost and Tasha set up Kanan, or how Tariq and Tasha set up Kanan? But if they were going to do this, they would most likely need an inside man, like how Tariq was with Kanan. And we know Kanan isn't going to set Ronnie up. So this is where Famous comes into play, because we know he's not really about that life, and he can also be bought. So I think that Rock could use Famous in one way or another to set up Ronnie to go back to prison. That's if Ronnie doesn't do something stupid to already get himself killed or arrested first. And this could end up causing Kanan to kill Famous for being a snitch. And the other wild card that could come into play is Jukebox. If Rock and Howard don't use Famous to take out Ronnie, they could definitely use Jukebox to get close to Kanan and find out all his business and take out Ronnie that way. Also keep in mind that I've mentioned before that Ronnie's character is loosely based off Prince Miller from the Supreme Team. Now I'm not saying that Prince was Michael Myers crazy or anything like that like Ronnie, but he was definitely a menace and a terror in the streets though. And more importantly, Prince was sent to prison for life in the year 1993, the year we are currently in on season 3. And I think right now we are right around May of 1993 and Jukebox is about to graduate high school. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.